Hey, coaches, it's our second shot at this, and we'll see if we can get this thing going a little better than last time. Let me read this. All right, put your name in the chat and get any questions you have ready. Of course, I thought I could get video up this time. I was going through Zoom, and it was no go. So I'm close to getting it figured out, uh, but I can't show video yet. So I'm not going to be able to show you the tunnel screen stuff yet. But what I thought I'd do is talk about what's been just killing it in 7-on-7 and what I think is going to be really good when the season gets rolling. We've had a super successful 7-on-7 season so far. Hey, Damien, good to see you, buddy. Uh, and so I'll share all that with you as far as we'll just talk through it and talk some ball for as long as we want to talk ball. We can be on here for an hour or so if we want to, and share any of your ideas and just get a dialogue going on what's been happening so far in 7-on-7 and what's been successful. So for us, we have thrown, and I might have talked about this last time, but we have thrown more long touchdown passes this summer than ever before. Uh, we've really turned it into a long ball team. I think a lot of that has to do with just the quality of receivers we have on the outside. We've got two super fast, good receivers on the outside at X and Z. And then we've got a really good sophomore, about a 6'3", 200-pound Y that can run. And he's terrorizing the middle of the field. So it's I'm thinking teams are going to immediately double team the outside guys, and he's going to terrorize them in the middle just because he's too good. I mean, he looks like a college guy already, and he's only a sophomore, and he can run like a deer and jumps and great hands, and his routes are getting better and better. So, what's been working for us so far? When they pull back, everyone's playing passing league defense. Those linebackers are too deep, and they're starting too deep, and then immediately dropping, regardless of play action passes or whatnot. Uh, when they're dropping way back, our slant shoot combinations have been unbelievable this year, especially out of trips. Uh, and then stick route, we started hitting stick routes the other day. They looked pretty dang good for us. Uh, but the three routes that have been just rocking. I mean, one play touchdown drives, 40-yard touchdown passes, just unbelievable completion rate and attacking the field vertically has been 95, 94, and 96 is our choice route. And really it's 95 and 94 have been the ones that have been just producing, just outrageously long touchdown passes. I've got a couple videos out there. I don't think I've done the video on 94 yet with video. I think I've drew it up on the board and talked through it, but it's just this concept, and I got it from Shane Dular, this concept of reading the safety first. So whatever side if we're talking 95, it's the left safety. If there's a one high safety, we're just reading that middle safety. If it's 94, we're reading the right side of the field, so it's the right safety. And we're just the quarterback. He's flashing a play action fake, but his eyes are immediately on that safety, and that safety tells him what he's going to do. If that safety backs up, he knows he's coming off of read number one. He's going to the rest of the progression. If that safety stands still or rolls forward, he's throwing the touchdown shot right now. We're running that as a skinny post, which is we're trying to throw it straight down that hash, and basically the quarterback's throwing it as far as he can, just because those two guys have a lot of speed on them. They're both 4.5, 4.4 kids, and it's just been outrageous as far as the completion rate and the number of just long touchdown passes. Typically we're starting at the 40 on a 7-on-7 situation, and it's turned into one play touchdowns a whole bunch of times. So 95, we're reading it to the left, 94 to the right. And like I said, we've got this young Y that, when, you know, typically teams, what they do is they put the safeties really trying to take care of the skinny post, and they're basically double teaming that kid, those skinny posts. And then the Y is the second read on both those routes, whether it's the Y cross or the Y sail. The Y is the second read, and he's just tearing it up in there, running good routes, making good catches. So, Arthur, appreciate you being here. Uh, let's see. There needs to be a 7-on-7 league that have special rules that keep it realistic to the real game. Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, I've been a defensive coordinator, and I've tried different things where I forced them to take, the linebackers take 2 steps forward uh, before they could drop. And heck, 10 minutes into the game, everything starts getting competitive, and I'm forgetting to make them step forward. So it's just tough. Hey, Shane, appreciate you being here, buddy. Shane's in the chat. He's the one we got the concept from, and really, Shane. He tried to talk me into running that thing for years, and finally I listened to him. Should have listened to him a long time ago, because it's really, this is the second year running it the way Shane does it, and it's just gone to the next level. At least in 7-on-7. I'm hoping it's gonna. It was a really good play for us in real life last year, but it's just gone to the next level in 7-on-7, and it's scary good. And then we just mirrored Shane's concept on 95, and put the same concept in on 94. So now 95 to the left, 94 to the right, and it's just been phenomenal. And again, part of that's because the outside guys are really friggin' good, and that Y is pretty special too. But it all goes to Shane. It was Shane's idea, and if I was smart, I would have been doing it 5 years ago. Shane put it in. I don't know, Shane. Put in the comments how long it's been. Probably, it feels like it's been 10 years ago that he told me about it, and tried to get me to run it. And my poor intellect, I didn't like the fact that we were reading the safety, because old traditional air raid is your progression read only. So I didn't like the fact that we were looking at their people. I always prided ourselves that we're not looking at the bad guys, we're looking at us, and we're making yes no decisions. But really, reading that safety is what made everything. I mean, it made everything different. And it's just a quick read. Is he stagnant? Is he rolling down, or is he backing up? That's as simple as the read is. And our quarterback picked it up, and really, I think I said this in another video. We're such a choice route team. I was shocked. I asked my quarterback what his favorite play was last year, and he told me it was 95. So it became his favorite play. Good luck on making 7-on-7 more realistic. But I still love it, because I think it gets us full speed reps, and competition in a great way. All right, Arthur, are you rushing it? Go out, cross, curl. I'm not sure what you're asking there. We go, our progression is skinny post, which our eyes are on the safety. So it's skinny post on 95, Y cross. It's skinny post, then the Y cross, then it's usually the back out in the flat, because we play action. So we've got the H is running a shallow away, and after the fake, the back is into the flat. At least on 95. It's kind of the opposite on 94. The shallow becomes the flat player on 94. But it's just we don't get to the third progression very often. As a matter of fact, sometimes our quarterback cheats it, and he'll go post, cross, and then work all the way back across to the we run a post curl on the backside, which is almost always open. And the backs are getting, I mean, the receivers are getting good about, like, it almost looks like a dig sometimes, because once they curl it, they're working to find the open window because the backer, in 7-on-7, the backers are so active, they're flying out of there. So it ends up being the second window sometimes. So that backside post curl ends up looking almost like a dig. Like we hit one, we took them to the beach the other day, and we throw with someone down at the beach before we go to the beach, and we hit that backside curl for a touchdown, but it looked like a dig. I mean, he was still moving straight lateral across the field. The quarterback hit him, and then he just turned it up and took it to the house. So sometimes, at least in passing league, it can look like a dig more than a curl, but it's really a post curl on the backside. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, just say it another way, and I'll try again. Uh, Damien, Coach Dular, do you have a contact to learn this? If you want, if you're asking me Shane's contact, uh, I'll let him. Shane, if you want, put whatever you want in the text. I think Shane usually will give out his email address, and you can call him. Shane is brilliant, one of the smartest dudes I know, and one of the best football minds I know. I meant, are you going to go? Uh, I meant, are you doing go out cross curl? I think you're asking me. I had a video a couple of years ago where we were running H on the out, like the Mike Leach way, and we've gone away from that. We do it exactly like Shane does it now. So the X is on the skinny post, the H is on the shallow going away from it, the Y is on the cross, the Z is on the post curl, and the back play action fakes and then hits the shoot out to the play action side. I think I got it right that time, but if I didn't, just ask it again, Arthur. We'll get it figured out. 13. Shane said he's been doing it. He's been running it that way for 13 years. So that tells you how smart I am. He's been trying to get me to run it that way for 13 years, and I kept saying no. And me and Shane were at the Tennessee clinic, and a guy came up, and while Shane was sitting there, and he said, "Man, I love the way you're running 95 now." And of course, Shane jumped in there and said it was his idea for some reason. I don't know why he didn't let me take credit on that. All right, whistle. Great for wide receiver. Indeed, you're talking about 7-on-7. Yeah, it is, and it's just hard to. I mean, I'll get like I'll be a big dog sometimes and say, "Oh, this is ridiculous. They're running 7-on-7 defenses." But I know when it gets. I know when I was a D coordinator, I had a two-man package that was really just for 7-on-7. So it happens. You get competitive and you do stuff. Arthur, that sounds like it's hard for D to cover. Sounds great. It is. It's amazing. But to me, the amazing part is the number of free touchdown shots you get, even when we don't miss them. Like we came away. We came away Thursday, and we had probably missed five easy touchdowns on it. Whether we hit the guy in stride, he dropped it, or the quarterback just barely missed it, or but I reckon it to when old Tiger Woods would go to the press conference and they'd be asking all those stupid questions to him, and he'd be calm, and he'd say, well, I had a lot of good looks at birdies today. And they just didn't fall, but we had good looks at them. And that's kind of how I feel about the skinny post on those two round 95, 94 is dang, we're catching an unreal amount of touchdowns off it, but we're probably, missing five or six more on top of that. So we're just getting good looks at easy touchdowns. And, I think Wednesday we went to Raleigh and threw against a big 4A school. We're single A. This school we threw with literally had more kids in the senior class than we had in our whole school, and we're just dropping touchdowns on them. But I was getting aggravated. Either someone would, one of their guys would make a great play, or we would just barely miss it, or we would drop one. We probably left 5 or 6 touchdowns out there. But when I'm going to the sideline, I'm getting aggravated with our guys, and then I'm thinking, shit, if this was a real game, we would have already thrown for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. So it's just one of those things. If you just keep it in that Tiger Wood mentality, man, we're getting good looks at easy touchdowns by reading that safety the way that Shane taught me to do it. So it really is. It really is exciting. David, good to have you on here, man. Appreciate it. Why do you prefer shoots over swings? When swings, I don't know what that word is. Time better than shoots. I am a swing guy. Uh, we finally went to shoot because of Phil Longo, and and this is how he got me. He said, "I'm a swing guy too." But when we did the study, because Phil's super smart too, and they that level of coach, they do a lot of off season studies, and he said we just when we studied it, even though I'm a swing guy, the shoots were better. They come out faster. There's more yards after catch. So even though I like the swing better, we went to the shoot because it was just more effective, and he got me. That's so I'm the same way, David. I still like to swing better. If it was me, I'd swing everything, and I did for years. Again, Shane's on here. Shane tried to get me to go to shoot route on stick route a long time ago, and I just couldn't force myself to it, just because I believed that back, if I could give him the ball with him facing the defense, he had a chance to move, to make a move and make something happen. And he did sometimes. But the truth is, the shoot route just stresses the defense so much faster and harder. Uh, and it's still a good throw for the quarterback. And it was just better. So Phil got me because he just those words. He said, I'm a swing guy too, but this is better. So I went to what was better. So we just copied Phil, and it ended up being a good deal for us, David. So I am a swing guy. And we still, on 90s, we check swing. We're swings on the 90s, but on stick route now and on Y corner. Uh, I think maybe you're asking why the back shoots on 94, 95. That's just because he's play action. And so he's going to play action, get a good play action fake. And so it's just easier to turn that into a shoot route after the play action fake, if that's what you're asking on 94, 95. But I'm like you. You know, in my head, it just makes more sense to catch the ball with your looking at the defense than having your back to the defense. But it works out better the other way. All right, Arthur, is the skinny post play side or backside? Uh, on the original play, it's play side. So if it's 95, you got Y cross coming across, then you got skinny. So he's reading, it's that triangle. He's got the safety for skinny post, then Y cross, then the back and the flat. But we will have a switch call because teams because it's killing them, so they're trying all different ways, and our defense will roll safeties. Like when they see Y cross coming, they'll play this safety down on the Y cross, and they'll take the backside safety and try to run them to the post. So we will have a switch call, a tag, where we just switch it, where now the play side runs the curl and the backside runs the skinny, and that's just for those teams that want to roll that safety and rob the post with them, because of the haul tail. And again, it happens in Skelly more than real life. In real life, the play action fake kills almost all that crap. That kills the linebackers. It kills the safeties rolling because they're reading the routes. It kills most of that stuff in real life. But in Skelly, we'll call a switch when we catch that safety trying to haul tail across to get under the play side post, and now we'll hit the skinny back behind him, and he's dead in the water. But really, that's 7-on-7 talk. The play action pass, the play action kills almost all that stuff, and which is why it was such a big player for us during the year. Uh, that was David. That was Arthur. All right, Shane. Most coaches do try to run their real defense in 7-on-7, except at tournaments. Critical for team to get competitive reps at different looks and good film to coach off of when you have time to meet. So that's Shane's philosophy on it. And you know, if there wasn't some benefit to it, no one would do it. We'd all be at the beach instead. So we know, and intuitively, we know we're getting some good results from 7-on-7. But is it always realistic? Even I even buck Shane a little bit. Even I think they're running their regular defense. Like yesterday at the beach, South Brunswick's who we were throwing with, and they're very good. They do a good job with schemes, and they're running their defense. But damn, them linebackers are flying. As soon as you snap the ball, them linebackers are flying out of there. So it's hard to keep them linebackers where they're supposed to be in real life. And of course, they're ignoring play action. That doesn't exist. So, but we know if it wasn't helping us, we wouldn't be doing it. Uh, let's see. Arthur, appreciate it. David, also, what do you spend the majority of your reps in? 2 by 2, 3 by 1. And I'm pretty simple. Even in this is true in real life. Uh, both passing league and real life. If we're in the middle, if we're between the hashes, we're in 2 by 2. If we're on the hashes, we tend to be 3 by 1. Uh, and I'm probably doing that for rep reasons, but also for I think it's a habit that starts in 7-on-7, and then I just carry it during the season. I know we when real football gets here, we'll run that condensed 3 by 1 look, that little what we call stack. No, we call it trio. What we call trio. Uh, we'll run that a lot more. We hardly ever run that in 7-on-7, but in real life, it's a pretty significant formation for us, and I like it because it's compressed. We're trying to get the bunch to be 7 yards from the tackle, so it should be just perfect. Quick screen territory. Just an easy way to whip the ball out there, and I like it because we can put the stack into the boundary and screw with defenses that way too. You put that compressed trips into the boundary, and now defenses have got to start making a decision on how they're going to play that stuff. Are they going to ignore it? Are they gonna are they gonna put their defense into the boundary? It just forces some things from them. And sometimes, especially when we get team, and we don't get very often where a team just says, "Screw it, we're going to play man against you." But if they decide to play man, putting that bunch into the boundary, now you got single coverage, and you can put your best guy out there against single coverage 1-on-1, and it should be a crapshoot out there. Uh, so that's the answer, David. Is we normally between the hashes we're 2 by 2, on the hashes we're 3 by 1. In real life, we do a lot of that compressed formations, uh, and really and I've talked about this before. That compressed look, that's really a run look for us. I just like having it just screws with the defense having to cover that thing when they know we'll run, we'll call counter and do counter blocking and then whip that thing out there for a quick screen out there. Uh, so it's just something we like, something I got it from the dudes that Shane are with. All right, let's see. I don't know how to say that name. Laminator. On corner, is your quarterback just pre-snapping the corner, or is it part of the progression, and how does he go through it? Again, this turned into Shane's clinic. Shane, I was about to take Y corner out. I never call that sucker. Uh, and for some reason, I had a problem conceiving the play in my own head. And then George talked me into keeping it. And then Shane just said this to me one time, and it just the light bulb went off. Is Shane said to think about it like slant shoot. When we run 7-9, our slant shoot, we look slant. Our progression is slant, slant, shoot. If it's a 9 call, slant, slant, shoot. And Shane just said, just think about it as a slant shoot combination, but instead of going backside on your slant, just go corner. So now our progression is corner, slant, shoot. And for some reason that clicked in my brain and the play started making sense to me. And it clicked for my quarterback. My quarterback conceived it that way too. And it started working for him. Our pre-snap, we finally changed it. And I can't remember who gets credit for this. I can't remember if it was Shane or if it was George, but they talked me into running on the backside of wide corner, running the quick slant by the inside guy and the 5 yard fin by the outside guy. I think it might have been George that taught me into this. And that's made all the difference in the world. So now the quarterback, anytime he wants to, he can just disregard play side and completely work backside. So we're basically only throwing the inside slant if there's a blitzer coming. If they're showing blitz and coming, then we'll pop the quick slant to the inside to H, and then that backside fin. And this is how Shane. I mean, this is how George convinced me of it. It's virtually unstoppable, especially if it's man coverage. So that thing, I mean, basically anytime he wants to take the backside fin, it's there. We've got the X we have is real fast, and he's probably 6'1", and he's just unstoppable on that fin. So those two things have made a difference. The way conceiving it as corner slant shoot and just thinking of it as a 9 call, and then putting that slant fin on the backside has really made it into a great play for us. And I'm a guy who had it in the playbook for years and never called it. I just had it in there because it was an air raid thing, and you're supposed to have it, so I had it. But then when I went from a 4-day insert to a 3-day insert, I kicked it out. I'm like, I never call that thing. I kicked it out. I was going to put uh hitch boot in as my third quick game, and George saved it. I mean, literally like the night before spring ball started, he taught me into it. So I switched those two and I put wide cornerback in, and I still didn't have a good feel for it. And then Shane talked to me and got my mind right on it. Just the concept of the play. So anyway, that's my story. That's how I went to it. All right, so that was a long answer. We hit the slant like crazy, but the corner gets missed by our quarterback sometimes. We're the same. We The quarterback has a tendency to want to throw that corner regardless, and like I said, we got that big Y who runs good. Uh, but when it comes nut cutting time, he ends up hitting that Z when it counts. So what he hasn't hit the shoot route a whole bunch off of it, and I can't tell you why 100%. Uh, but it's turning into a good play for us, and I mean literally we would go a whole season and call that thing like twice. Like one year when I did the cut ups, the only wide corner play I found in the cut ups was we hit one in a scrimmage. That was the only. We never in the regular season we didn't call that thing one single time. So it was really just a play I didn't call very often, but thanks to George and Shane, it's changed a little bit. I'm starting to get comfortable with it. Slant fin, great versus cover two, stealing. So Shane likes it versus cover two. George likes it versus man. Uh, as far as that fin on the backside of wide corner, and we're getting ready to put it on the backside of a stick route also. So it's that fin is pretty nasty. I saw we went to the UNC coaching clinic maybe 2 years ago. It was when Longo was still there, and so we were down on the practice field. There was a practice involved, and we are down there, and I'm standing right there with the receivers, and they were running slants, and then all of a sudden they started running fins, And I actually talked to one of the kids was, like a senior, and I actually talked to him for a second and, said, "Tell me about that route. How's it feel running?" And I kind of had a conversation with the kid, and he liked it, and he was really good at it. So I know the kids like it too. It's not just the coaches; it's the kids like it too. Uh, let's see, Marcello. Some coaches run corner or quick game, and some run corner as snag drop back. What changes concept wise if you decide to run it as a drop back as opposed to a quick game given the steps for the quarterback? I had the same questions, man, because I'm trying to remember the guy. Shane can probably tell me. He's been at Arizona and he was at UCLA. The offensive coordinator. That's a big snag guy. Like runs it out of trips, runs it out of doubles. Huge snag guy. And when I would watch his cut ups, and I wanted to steal it. I wanted to steal it. Yeah, Mazzoni. Shane knows everything. Mazzoni. Uh, and he was a huge snag guy. But when I was watching the cut ups, he was three stepping that thing. He was more of a drop back game for him. And in my mind, snag our corner route is a quick game concept. It's quarterback's popping his feet and getting the ball out of his hands pretty quick. So uh, I don't. I've even called it. I used to call it snag. Now I call it wide corner. That's because that's what the air raid guys call it. But in my mind, what we're doing with wide corner, it's a quick game route. And what Mazzoni was doing with snag, it was more of a drop back route. It was a three-step drop for the quarterback. And I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but there used to be some real good cut ups of him. I think he was at Arizona, and there were some really good cut ups of snag, Mazzoni snag. So if I'm sure they're still on there, go look them up if you're interested in running as a drop back concept. But we're not thinking of it that way. We're thinking of it as a quick game concept. Quarterback's popping his feet, fast feet, and working through his progressions, whether he's concept side or he's backside. It's quick game to us. But that was but David knew it was Mazzoni too. Uh, but that stuff is I think that stuff is still on YouTube, and it was really good. I mean, I would watch it and watch it and watch it and say, man, I got to try that. I got to try that. But it never fit because it was to me that's if he's taking a three-step drop, it's a 90, and then I would get into this deal where, all right, am I going to invest in that? And Mazzoni's snag, but it ends up being almost exactly like mesh. I'm getting the exact same thing out of mesh. So why would I have two of them? Why would I have two of those type concepts that are both drop back concepts? So that's the kind of crap that was going through my head, and why I never pulled the trigger on it. But it's on YouTube. If you're interested in it, I would check it out. David says, It's a quick game for us, and its success usually depends on the quarterback that year. Some quarterbacks can throw that corner, others can't do it as well. And I would agree. Some have a feel for it. Like Shane's a big, just throw it to the grass guy. And our quarterback has started thinking of it that way, where he, instead of thinking about throwing it to the guy, he's thinking about throwing it to the grass, wherever the grass is out there. But we still have that problem, that same problem. I can't remember who asked the question first. Was he does get fixated on that corner route sometimes and throws it even when I think either Wednesday or Thursday we called it one time, and the corner just bailed on us, and the safety jumped it, so it ended up being 2-on-1, and he had already thrown that thing, and I was like, who, there's no one on the slant, but they just get fixated on that corner sometimes. And I think Shane's on the same page on this. I know I am. I think of the corner as a man beater. Like if they're in man, I think the corner route's a great shot. Throw it up high, throw it in the bucket, let the guy go get it. Uh, George, on the other hand, When he sees man, he wants to go back to the thin side. And you're already seeing Shane. Whenever Shane sees cover two, he wants to go back to the thin side. So just different ways to think about it, but uh, we're finally throwing it, and we're finally feeling better about it. All right, Corey, uh, what do you think are the easiest quick game concepts for 12U to execute? I'll let everyone jump in on this one. I would say stick route and stick route, quick screens, Larry Roger quick screens are easy. Uh, we used to have a thing, we as much as we love slant shoot on the varsity, we don't even install it on the JV. It just feels like it's like an easy pick, for we had a quarterback who took us to the state championship game in his freshman year. If we called 7 and 9, it was going to be, it was going to be a pick every time. They just something about it. They couldn't pick up that linebacker coming across. So 7 and 9, definitely not 7 and 9, but I think stick route's a good one. Let's see, Butler. David said. Slant out, which we don't even have we don't install, but that's an easy one. Slant out's an easy one. Uh, I would think those and Larry Rod. I mean, there's the way I'm thinking about it is what do we install on JV? We install even though they go through all our insertions, we don't carry the whole offense on JV. We only carry the gimmies. So stick routes a gimme, Larry Rogers a gimme. We'll throw a vert. Uh, and I like what David said. The vert out would be an easy one also. All right. So there's that one. All right. So the other, and this kind of falls in the screen category. It's a screen pass concept. The other 90 that we have and we don't insert it in the 90s. We insert it as a RPO. Is we're calling it 91, which is we have the shallow screen coming left, and we're reading the choice route on the out of the Z. So we're going choice, and if the walk player runs underneath the choice, then he's throwing the shallow screen. And even in passing league, that thing has been nasty. Again, we got that big Y that's running. He can really run. I mean, he looks like a college kid. Uh, but that combination, the choice on out of Z and the shallow screen coming back to the left, has been really good for us last year and in passing league this year. Shane said, this is for Corey. Shane said, fade out, which is what David said, stick, uh, dig out instead of slant out is easier. So that there's Shane's ideas for you on the 12U stuff. Uh, let's see. David says, I dig out even can you guys see the chat? I'm reading these out loud like you can't see them, but can I don't know if you guys can see each other's conversation in the chat. David said, I dig out uh, even even classed as quick game for you doobie. Dig 10 yards. I don't know. I'm not reading that one very good. Corey says yes. Oh yeah, we can see. Okay, so I didn't know, but I guess I got to read them anyway for the replay on YouTube. But so you guys see each other's answers on that. But definitely, I think everyone's in agreement. Stick's a good one. Vert out's a good one. Uh, and I would throw Larry. We throw Larry Roger. We had our middle school running our offense 2 years ago, and they were murdering people with quick screens too. Larry Roger quick screens. So those are good ones. I just talked about 91, which we inserted as an RPO, even though I guess that's a pass screen, not a run pass option. Uh, uh, Dave was asking for clips. What do you want clips on? The dig out. Uh, I don't know. Shane gets a little stingy on film now. I don't know. He don't like to show a lot of film. they they have a secret cult down there in Myrtle Beach. They don't like to share film very often. Uh, but the shallow choice has been big for us. I know I keep talking about this. Uh, we've got a counter tunnel screen that is unbelievable. Uh, that I've got to get. I got to just get the drone up. We are in a dead week next week, but when we come back, I'll get the drone up at practice and we'll film that thing so I can do a video on it. But it is. I'm talking about nasty, nasty good. George stands behind the defense, and he says when we run it, he can't tell that it's not a counter. I mean, it is. It looks so much like counter that he can't tell it's not counter. So you got the whole defense attacking to stop counter, and all of a sudden tunnel screens running out the gate on them. So that's when I'll get the drone up when we get back from break and get a video on it because it's a good one. I can't wait to run it in real life. Uh, any other ideas for 12U as far as some easy play? I like counter at any level. Uh, I think zone is hard at the lower levels, but counter is easy. Uh, so counter, quick screens, stick, vert out. Vert out would probably be a great combination because you can throw the vert off of it. Uh, and when we do stick, the only time we throw the vert on stick is on press coverage, and we get some of them. I mean, there's been times even in passing league when we got press coverage and just threw the touchdown onto the vert just because he was pressed up and it's an automatic check. And our kids are pretty much to the point now. If you press them, they're going vert, and they're on the same page with the quarterback, and the receivers are all on the same page. All right. Any other questions? Because I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. I'm sure Shane's gonna call me, help me get this thing figured out on how there's supposed to be a way I can go through Zoom and click a button and it goes live on Facebook, on YouTube. So I promise I will figure that out before we do another one of these because I really wanted to show the tunnel screen stuff. We had a lot of success with it last year because it turned into a double screen. We got a swing screen on one side and a tunnel screen coming on the other. Shane says Shane's just confirming that they have a secret cult in Myrtle Beach and they don't share a lot of film. Uh, let's see. Backside of Y cross. What do you run? Dig or post curl? What's the footwork for the receiver? We run, and I talked about this earlier. Uh, we run a post curl, but in passing league a few times, and I don't know if it's probably honestly just a passing league thing because the play action's not affecting the linebackers at all. They're just ignoring play action in passing league. So it has started looking more and more like a dig because they're trying to get to the second window and the quarterback's hitting them while they're still on a dead run. So yesterday at the beach, we hit the backside curl for a touchdown, but it looked like a dig. I mean, he hit a post and then when he went to curl, he started working laterally across the field, just trying to get to the next window because the linebackers had expanded so quickly and the quarterback hit him on the dead run. He turned it up and scored it. So in reality, and I think once the season gets here, the linebackers will suck down a lot more on that play action, and it'll turn back into a regular curl. But it is a curl. It is a post curl on the backside, but it looks it looks like dig sometimes, just because they're working for the next window. Uh, the footwork, uh, we just do the 10 yards. We work to post for 15, and then we curl it up for at the top of 15. So when they catch it, it's usually 12ish yards when they catch it, uh, unless it turns into that dig looking thing, and then he was motoring across the field. It looked like he was about at 15 yards, but he never slowed down. And when he caught it at full speed and turned it up and scored it. Uh, so 10 to 15 to curl is what it's supposed to look like. Terrence, what is your best advice for coaching quarterbacks? Find one that can throw it. That's always been. Now Shane's a guru. Now he puts them through all kinds of drills in the off season. I've usually just found one that can throw it pretty good, that has a good head on his shoulders. I found out if you can get one that can throw it and he's got a good head on his shoulders that you can communicate with, you can turn him into a good quarterback just through the reps of the reps. If you're practicing air raid style, the amount of reps that those kids are getting are friggin' unbelievable. And Shane gave me this one, and when I follow his advice, my quarterback gets really good. And when I get lazy and don't follow it, the quarterback struggles. But Shane takes his guys through every snap of the game film every Monday. And when I'm disciplined and do that, man, my quarterbacks get good because we're literally going play by play the entire and we start at scrimmages and take it all through. Shane does a little better job. We don't get film on every 7-on-7. I think Shane does. So Shane starts the process in 7-on-7. We get I think we've only gotten one film of 7-on-7 this summer. So our film of 7-on-7 is a little more scattered than Shane's is, but just taking them play by play and going through each progression and this is what you did good and this is what you did bad between the film work and the reps that they get. If you got one that can throw and he's got a good head on his shoulders, you can make him a good quarterback. Uh, Other than that, I think, and Shane can probably throw some stuff in here. There you go. Shane says, get his eyes right, get his feet right, film, film, film. There you go. There's Shane. And more and more, the get his feet right. I know when my kid misses a ball, it's because his feet weren't right. He got lazy on it. We're like the Peyton Manning style fast feet, and when their feet get lazy, the throw, feet make throws, and that's true because if you watch the NFL guys and the like big league D1 guys, they'll have someone filming the quarterback's feet. So if they're spending that time to have someone filming his feet, you know how big a deal they think it is. All right, Matt, on your counter screen, are you going fat rules? Center equals force guard equals alley equals trash. Uh, we don't ever do the trash collector guy or the rat killer. We go first guy runs the sidewalk trying to get as flat as he can, and then we stack them on top of that. So it'll be the first guy, the second guy will be in the middle, the third guy will be here. We never circle back for a rat killer, and we haven't needed to, so not going to change it. But basically it's a tunnel, but you're using the front side three, the down blockers. They just keep going instead of it's down blocking on people. They kind of whiff on them and keep running. So you get it's the same look as the tunnel. You're just using the backside guys instead of the front side guys. It's really neat. I'm gonna like I said, I'll get the drone up in the air when we get back from break and get a video out on it because it's really nasty. Probably the play I'm most excited about this year, even though 95 and 94 have been looking so good. Uh, okay, thank you. We're seeing this same thing here. It's turning more into a dig when he's looking for grass. Yeah. So, and I think that's just because it's passing league. I think once the real football starts, them linebackers are going to react a lot harder on the play action. Just in passing league, they're ignoring it, so they're flying out of there. So that guy's looking for the second window more. When I think the first window is going to be there in real life. Uh, Shane talked about the quarterbacks, and like I said, Shane's coached like 5 D1 quarterbacks. Uh, Sounds like Shane needs to make an appearance on this channel. I think I can't ever get him to do it. He's shy. I've tried to get Shane on the channel a bunch of times. Uh, why we do the same counter tunnel but out of GH counter? Yeah, we don't do a lot of GH counter, but it would work just as good. I mean, it's a nasty screen. Uh, Weldon sounds like the Lincoln. Yeah, it is. It's the Lincoln. All great screens originate with Lincoln Riley. Yeah, I thought we all knew that, but yeah, that's the shallow screen that we run. That's a Lincoln Riley thing, and this new counter screen is a Lincoln Riley thing. So he's pretty smart. Yeah, I think him and Shane uh, went to the same school because they're both pretty smart. All right. So let's see. We're at 3:51. If you got any other questions, throw them in there. I love talking ball. I promise you, I think I'm going to try to do this on Tuesday nights. Uh, George stole Monday night, so I can't take Monday night, but I think I want to do it on Tuesday night, just because I don't want to screw up everyone's Saturday, and college football starting soon. So, but if there's no more questions, I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, here's one. Real appreciate all of your videos. Appreciate you watching, man. Uh, and we're going to try to do this hopefully once a week, if not every couple weeks. Uh, and and I appreciate you guys being here, man. Keep throwing that thing around. It's a lot more fun. This was amazing. Thanks, Coach. Thank you guys for being here, man. Appreciate you, and we'll do it hopefully once a week, and I'm trying to get it on Tuesday night instead of Saturday afternoon to to get the wives off of us. All right, thank you, man. Have a great day.